What's up, guys? True Crime King back with you. Today we're going to be checking out a story of a TikToker that was live on TikTok and actually was shot and killed while live on TikTok in her own house. Her name is Kalecia Williams, Kalecia Williams. If you guys want to, research this more, but hit that like and subscribe button if you like it, and if you want to hear more stories about true crime and my reactions. But other than that, let's get to the video.
This is the story of Kalecia Williams, a 16-year-old girl murdered while recording what would be her last TikTok video. Disclaimer: the video is to bring awareness to Kalecia Williams' story and meant to cause no harm. Please pray for the friends and the family of the victim. Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, guys, please, send prayers to the family, all families that have had someone killed or murdered,
Gained national news in 2020 after a horrifying death of a young girl. In December 2020, Kalecia Williams, a 16-year-old high school student, received an invite to a party that was going to be held at an Airbnb. This party would be chaperoned by an adult. Kalecia's stepfather, Ronnie Savoy, encouraged her to go to the event since she had been confined to her house since the lockdown due to COVID-19.
He's supposed to be at an Airbnb with a couple of more friends from school and the mother. They'd have done this once before, so we was a little comfortable of letting her go the second time. And we spoke to the mother, and she said she was going to be there.
April Smith, Kalecia's mother, agreed with her daughter getting some time out of the house and enjoying herself. The chaperone informed Kalecia's parents that the event would be an Airbnb party for children and that she would be responsible for everything.
Alright, so yeah, it does sound like these parents were a little kind of overprotective, They called the fucking chaperone and made sure it was just going to be kids and, all that kind of crap. But, I don't know what I would do if I had a 16-year-old, Maybe I would do the same thing. I don't know. I don't have kids. But let me know down in the comments, those of you that have kids,
The parents felt at ease and decided that sending Kalecia to spend the night would be good for her.
But those that are mad at the mom and the dad for whatever reason, keep in mind we should just be mad at the person that fucking, killed and murdered this girl, right? I mean, the parents didn't do it, right? So let's keep that in mind, okay?
At 12:02 a.m., Kalecia is seen performing a dance routine in her TikTok video when someone suddenly entered her room without knocking. The teen looked shocked and afraid, then suddenly stops filming her video. The sound of gunshots could be heard from her room a few minutes later. Partygoers were unaware of what happened to Kalecia. Two guys discovered Kalecia on the floor of her hotel room.
Right there. So this is the moment that she probably sees the two guys entering. And I can't imagine the fear going through her at this moment, right? I mean, especially if she sees two guys with guns, right? We know they had guns because she was shot and killed. And she's in a vulnerable moment, right? She's fucking twerking on camera, right? It's pretty vulnerable. I mean, you can't get much more vulnerable than that other than being on the toilet or taking a shower, right?
They carried her to the elevator while holding her from behind and supporting her legs. As of 12:27 a.m., authorities had been notified about an earlier disturbance at Hyatt Regency. Following their arrival, the cops went to check on Kalecia. She wasn't breathing and had no pulse. She was then transferred to the hospital, where she remained for some time. The medical staff tried to save Kalecia's life but were unsuccessful. The 16-year-old was pronounced dead in the hospital. Kalecia's parents called the chaperone to check on the well-being of their child, but were only informed about their child's death 8 hours after she passed.
And shout out to this Viral Crimes channel. He does a real good job. I just subscribed. I would advise you guys, if you like, true crime, to subscribe to his channel as well.
It was a shock to Kalecia's parents to learn of what had happened to their daughter. They were enraged because the chaperone had failed to tell them sooner of the occurrence.
The hotel room was in her name, so I feel like she should be held accountable for my daughter's death as well. They didn't learn the group.
Okay. You know, she can't be watching, the girl, all these people, 24/7, right? I mean, if someone just randomly, busts into the door with guns, what is the chaperone gonna do, right? I mean, I get if she waited, like a day to call the cops and let them know, or call the parents and let them know, that's something different. But she what's she gonna do? Stop the guys with guns?
Group was staying at a Hyatt Regency until they received a horrific call the next day.
Like, this is the morgue. And I was like, the morgue? They was like, yes, ma'am. They was like, well, we're waiting on your daughter's body to come through. I'm like, whoa.
Kalecia's parents say that call didn't...
That's all you're like? You're waiting for your daughter's bodies to come through, and all you're like is, whoa? Wow.
come until 8:45 a.m. The teen was pronounced dead at 12:23 in the morning.
Kalecia's parents were also unaware that the party had moved to Hyatt Regency Hotel instead of the Airbnb that was previously discussed. The parents felt...
Okay, the chaperone didn't let them know that it wasn't at the Airbnb anymore. Airbnb. It was actually at a different place than they thought it was. It was at a hotel, Hyatt Regency, right?
Felt like the chaperone should be held accountable for the tragedy that happened to their daughter, since she took responsibility for the safety of the children at the party, and her parents only allowed Kalecia to attend the party on the assurance that the chaperone would look after her.
I don't agree with that. I mean, you can't hold the chaperone responsible for two guys, murdering the girl, right? You should hold the people that murdered her accountable, right? I mean, I'm sure the chaperone cared about these kids, right? But she also, allowed them to be kids, right? She was in her room. It's not like she was out on the town with some strangers, right? She was in her room, filming a TikTok video and twerking, and then two guys just kicked the door in. I mean, what's the chaperone supposed to do? But she's not gonna stick herself in between the gun and them. But even so, she didn't even have time to even do that. She wasn't there when this happened.
Atlanta.
At least that's my opinion.
Police Department reports that Kalecia knew her attacker. Anthony Grant, the police spokesman of the Atlanta Police Department, reported as follows. Preliminary investigation suggests that the victim was inside of a room at the Hyatt Regency with a juvenile male companion. A verbal dispute occurred between both parties, which resulted in the juvenile...
Okay, yeah, so it's almost 100%, that this girl knew her killer or killers, right? Because otherwise, why would they just come in and shoot her and not take anything and have a verbal altercation right before they were killed, right? It's probably has something to do with her talking to other guys and him being jealous, which is often the reason, right? But guys, you got to understand, girls, once you can't give them what they want anymore, or can't, you don't have the money to support, them living this lifestyle that they want to live, and they can get money from somewhere else. A lot of times, that's what they're gonna do. It's just the cold hard facts, right? I mean, I guess that's one reason why I don't, I'm not gonna get into me, but just be careful out there.
Male fatally shooting the victim. The juvenile is a 16-year-old boy, but identity is being concealed. The 16-year-old boy was taken into custody by Atlanta police and taken to Atlanta Police headquarters for additional questioning. At this time, the boy
Well, that's something I disagree with. I don't care if you're 14 years old. If you kill somebody, right? I think your name should be released and and maybe even just sent to big boy prison, right? Because that's a big boy decision, going in there and murdering somebody for probably no reason at all, or just because you're jealous. If you want to make that kind of big boy decision, then you should get big boy punishment, right? Again, my opinion.
boy admitted to shooting Kalecia after they got into a heated argument. Police then arrested the boy and charged him with felony murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a gun by someone younger than 18 years of age.
Yeah. So if you're convicted of this shit, you should go to big boy prison. That's just how I see it. You want to be a big boy and you want to do something as stupid as this? Well, go hang with the big boys in prison and see how tough you are. Okay?
The defendant is now being tried in an Atlanta court pending the court's ultimate judgment. Kalecia's parents also hold the hotel staff responsible for her child's death, and they protested outside of the Hyatt Regency Hotel along with supporters.
Okay, well, that's another thing. How you gonna hold the hotel staff responsible for your child's death? I mean, what? They didn't know that this dude was gonna kick the door in and shoot him. I mean, how could they have done anything different? How could the hotel could have done anything different? I mean, if you guys have disagree, put it in the comments, and maybe I'll change my mind. But as of right now, the only people that should be held responsible are the people that went up to a room, kicked in the door, and shot her dead.
To express their outrage at the hotel's negligence that resulted in their daughter's death.
I want the surveillance footage of what happened. Who went in that room, who came out of that room, who was all there, what took place. I need to know what happened.
Well, it's on TikTok. Most of what happened, right? She was twerking in front of a camera or her phone, and the door got kicked in, right? So, and the police aren't just going to release the cameras from outside the hallways. Again, there's laws, and they're juveniles, and that's why we don't know this guy's identity, right? But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. And True Crime King out.